The main political aim for Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale and the followers he was associated with during June 1984 was to pass the Anandpur Resolution and not explicitly a solely for a separate country of Khalistan. Throughout his career, Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale remained in contact with Indira Gandhi. Bhindranwale had earlier taken residence in Harmandir Sahib and made it his headquarters in December 1983. When he was accused of the assassination of Nirankari Gurbarkhan Singh, the Nirankari, also known as Gurbarkhan, had been the target of an attack by Ranjit Singh, a non-follower of Bhindranwale. Ranjit Singh was sentenced with 13 years of jail. On 13 April 1978, Nirankari chief Gurbarkhan is alleged to have ridiculed the Guru Granth Sahib and the 10th Guru Gobind Singh in a Nirankari convention held in Amritsar. This prompted Akan Kirtani Jatha to lead a protest against the Nirankari sect chief Gurbarkhan. The peaceful demonstrating Jatha, Akan Kirtani Jatha, was attacked by the Nirankaris. In the ensuing violence, several people were killed, 2 of Bhindranwale followers, 11 members of the Akan Kirtani Jatha and 3 Nirankari. In 1983, Bhindranwale and approximately 200 armed followers moved into a guest house called the Guru Nanak Niwas in the precinct of Harmandir Sahib. From here he met and was interviewed by international television crews. By December 1983, Harmandir Sahib complex became the quarter of Bhindranwale and his followers. On 23 April 1983, the Punjab Police Deputy Inspector General A.S. Atwal was shot dead as he left the Harmandir Sahib compound. The following day, after the murder, Harshan Singh Longowal, then president of Shiromani Akali Dal, claimed the involvement of Bhindranwale in the murder. Harmandir Sahib compound and some of the surrounding houses were fortified. The Statesman reported on 4 July that light machine guns and semi-automatic rifles were known to have been brought into the compound. Faced with imminent army action and with a foremost Sikh political organization, Shiromani Akali Dal, headed by Harshan Singh Longowal, abandoning him, Bhindranwale declared, "This bird is alone. There are many hunters after it." On 15 December 1983, Bhindranwale was asked to move out of Guru Nanak Niwas house by members of the Bubba Khalsa who acted with Harcharan Singh Longowal's support. Longowal by now feared for his own safety. According to the Indian government, Operation Bluestar was launched to eliminate Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale and his followers who had sought cover in the Amritsar Harmandir Sahib complex. The armed Sikhs within the Harmandir Sahib were led by Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale and former Maj Gen. Shabeg Singh. Lieutenant Gen. Kuldip Singh Brar had command of the action, operating under Gen. Sundarji. Indira Gandhi first asked Lieutenant Gen. S.K. Sinha, then Vice Chief of the Indian Army and selected to become the next Army Chief, to prepare a position paper for assault on the Golden Temple. Lieutenant Gen. Sinha advised against any such move, given its sacrilegious nature according to Sikh tradition. He suggested the government adopt an alternative solution. A controversial decision was made to replace him with General Arun Sridhar Vaidya as the Chief of the Indian Army. General Vaidya, assisted by Lieutenant Gen. Sundarji as Vice Chief, planned and coordinated Operation Bluestar. The Sikh Museum reports the following days: Tuesday, May 25, 100,000 Indian Army troops are mobilized and deployed throughout Punjab surrounding all important gurdwaras including the Golden Temple complex. Friday, June 1, thousands of pilgrims start to gather at the Golden Temple complex to celebrate the martyrdom anniversary of Guru Arjan on June 3. As Sant Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale sat on the roof of the Langar Hall, police snipers opened fire on him. They missed and Sikh militants fired back. A 7-hour skirmish during the night lasting until the morning leaves 11 dead and 25 injured. There were bullet holes in the Langar building, in the marble pavement, Parkama, surrounding the Golden Temple and in the Golden Temple itself. Sunday, June 3, all communications including phone lines to and from Punjab are cut. Roadblocks prevent anyone from entering or leaving Punjab and all journalists are expelled from Punjab. A total curfew is imposed and as many as 10,000 pilgrims are trapped inside the temple complex. Milk vendors from the villages who supply milk to the city of Amritsar are shot dead for violating the curfew orders. Monday, June 4, the army starts firing on the temple complex and there is a gun battle lasting 5 hours. Using machine guns and mortars, the army fires at dissident positions atop the two 18th-century towers called Ramgarh Bungas and the water tank behind Teja Singh Samandri Hall as well as surrounding buildings. At least 100 are killed on both sides. Tuesday, June 5 at 7 p.m. Operation Bluestar. The invasion of the Golden Temple begins with tanks of the 16th Cavalry Regiment of the Indian Army moving to enclose the Golden Temple complex. Troops are briefed not to use their guns against the Golden Temple itself or the Anti-Sikh. Artillery is used to blast off the tops of the Ramgarh Bungas and the water tank. Scores of buildings in and around the temple complex are blazing. One artillery shell lands more than 5 kilometers away in the crowded city. In the narrow alley behind the Anti-Sikh paramilitary commandos try to get into the temple. Some make it to the roof but are turned back due to the heavy gunfire. Meanwhile, tanks move into the square in front of the northern entrance to the Golden Temple known as the Clock Tower entrance. At 10:30 p.m. commandos from the 1st Battalion, the Parachute Regiment try to run down the steps under the clock tower onto the marble Parkama around the sacred pool. They face heavy gunfire, suffering casualties and are forced to retreat. A second wave of commandos manages to neutralize the machine gun posts on either side of the steps and get down to the Parkama. The Anti-Sikh is heavily fortified with sandbags and brick gun emplacements in its windows and arches. From here and the surrounding buildings, the dissidents are able to fire at any commandos who make their way in front of the Gurdwara. 2 companies of the 7th Garhwal Rifles enter the temple complex from the opposite side on the southern gate entrance and after a gun battle are able to establish a position on the roof of the temple library. They are reinforced by 2 companies of the 15th Kumarones. Repeated unsuccessful attempts are made to storm the Anti-Sikh. Wednesday, June 6, after midnight, tanks are used to break down the steps leading to the Parkama from the hostile side and an 8-wheeled Polish-built armored personnel carrier makes its way towards the Anti-Sikh. It is destroyed by a Chinese-made rocket-propelled grenade launcher. 6 or more Vijayanta tanks enter the temple complex, crushing the delicate marble inlays of the Parkama and plow their way towards the Anti-Sikh. Orders arrive and the tanks start firing the large 105mm cannons equipped with high-explosive squash head shells into the Anti-Sikh. These shells are designed for hard targets like armor and fortifications. When the shells hit a target, the heads spread a squash on the hard surface. Their fuses are arranged to allow a short delay between the impact and the shells igniting, so that a shock wave passes through the target and a heavy slab of armor or masonry is forced away from the inside of the target armor or fortification. The effect on the Sri Anti-Sikh, the most sacred of the 5 Sikhs, is devastating. Over 80 shells are pumped into the sacred Gurdwara. The entire front of the tract is destroyed and fires break out in many of the different rooms, blackening the marble walls and wrecking the delicate decorations dating back to the time of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Marble inlays, plaster and mirror work, filigree partitions and priceless old wall paintings are all destroyed. The gold dome of the Akal Takht is also badly damaged by artillery fire. At one stage a 3.7-inch howitzer gun is mounted on the roof of a building behind the shrine and fired a number of times at the beautiful dome. At the other end of the temple complex on the easternmost side, a battalion of the Kumaon regiment were invading the hostel complex where many of the innocent pilgrims were in hiding, as well as the temple administration staff. There was no water because the water tower had been destroyed and it was very hot. Thursday, the 7th of June, the army gained effective control of the Harmandir Sahib complex. Friday, the 8th of June, the army fought about 4 Sikhs holed up in basement of a tower. A colonel of the commandos was shot dead by an LMG burst while trying to force his way into the basement. By the afternoon of the 10th of June, the operation was over. The operation also led to the assassination of Minister Indira Gandhi on the 31st of October 1984 by 2 of her Sikh bodyguards, triggering the 1984 Anti-Sikh Riots. The widespread killing of Sikhs, principally in the national capital Delhi but also in other major cities in North India, led to major divisions between the Sikh community and the Indian government. The army withdrew from Harmandir Sahib later in 1984 under pressure from Sikh demands. The 1985 bombing of Air India Flight 182 is thought to have been a revenge action. General Arun Sridhar Vaidya, the chief of army staff at the time of Operation Bluestar, was assassinated in 1986 in Pune by 2 Sikhs, Harjinder Singh Jinder and Sukhdev Singh Sukha. Both were sentenced to death and hanged on 7 October 1992. Sikh militants continued to use and occupy the temple compound, and on 1 May 1986, Indian paramilitary police entered the temple and arrested 200 militants that had occupied Harmandir Sahib for more than 3 months. On 2 May 1986, the paramilitary police undertook a 12-hour operation to take control of Harmandir Sahib at Amritsar from several hundred militants. But almost all the major radical leaders managed to escape. In June 1990, the Indian government ordered the area surrounding the temple to be vacated by local residents in order to prevent militants' activity around the temple. S.K. Sinha, the GOC of the Indian Army who was sacked just before the attack, had advised the government against the operation. He later criticized the government's claim that the attack represented a last resort. He also stated that the operation would have been conducted in an entirely different manner if he had planned it.